Hey, ladies and gentlemen, it's Real Late on Hot 97. My name is Peter Rosenberg. The internet is in the building.
Whoop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What up, guys?
What's good?
What's good, man?
Okay, so I was just telling you off the air that this is going to be an interesting interview because my relationship to your music is now interesting. And what I meant by that is I musically have been utterly sleeping on you guys. So I support you in the sense that, like, show love. Oh my God, internet got nominated for a Grammy, because that's just because I've known Sid and because Caroline's my agent and like it's just home team. So I just have always showed love. But I really, for whatever reason, who was the other group that was running around in the early Odd Future days besides the internet? Wasn't there another group that was like would do shows sometimes after Odd Future shows?
No.
There's no one else you remember. There's no other group that I'm forgetting about that did like yes, there is Trash Talk.
Well, they're a metal band, yeah.
They're a metal band, okay?
Yeah, okay.
So, like, there was Trash Talk, and then you guys came around. I knew you guys were not that, but, like, some sort of weird hybrid thing I didn't know.
Yeah.
But I was just like, yo, I know it's supposed to be good, and everyone who I appreciate, like some close friends of mine who I know have great taste, love the internet. So you guys came in, I was like, yo, we should go sit down. So did a real introductory thing with Ebro. I was like, nah, I know that they're too good for something that fast.
Aww.
We need a little more time. So I've been waiting. So I've been waiting for you guys. So I went and bought the last album, and fortunately, the thing you did in the back took a while. So I basically just listened to the whole album, and it's fucking amazing.
Wow.
Like it's amazing. Like I was sitting there hitting my brother. I was like, "Yo," and my brother's like, "Nah, I've been sleeping too." He's like, "Our guy Quartermain says it's amazing," and I was like, "Bro, buy this right now." So now I don't know if it means shit or not, but congratulations, because I just was on first listen to the album.
I appreciate your honesty,
Hey,
man.
Now I know why you. Now I know why you thought it was going to win Grammys off top. Like there's not a bad song on the album.
Aww.
So okay, before we can talk about your music, I was going to tell you guys this, that I don't know if you know this or not, but Fat Joe did a remix of your record. And none of you know. And none of you know.
Hey, he came, he was out, he told me, I was like, what?
So, what are your thoughts?
All right, Fat Joe. I'll see you, bro.
First of all, whoever taught that beat up, that's tight.
Yeah, how'd they do that?
Somebody added some instruments. Somebody added some instruments in there. I don't know. It's like a synth that got added.
Really?
Shout out, because it sounded dope.
Really?
Yeah,
And he sounded good.
Yeah, that's what I was like.
That's why
It worked.
No, his voice makes perfect sense.
Fat
on
Joe
it.
has
It reminded me of like
He
proven
floated.
texture.
That's what floated means.
And
He's a proven what?
He has a proven texture.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he knows how to sit in the beat. When he knows when it's like, yo.
He doesn't overdo it.
He
can
doesn't
sit
Shit was
back.
dope.
He's one
Shit
of
was
those
dope.
rappers
Thanks,
like
Fat
that.
Joe. That shit was fire,
He knows
bro.
his texture. He knows how to get in the pocket.
Yo, so speaking of texture, how did you guys develop this sound? Because like the thing that got me excited about it, I was just hearing it, is like my main thing is I'm really on, for the last 3 years or so, I've been really back on my old shit. I started I went from collecting 12 inches to collecting 45s. So I've just been digging through soul music and all kinds of different shit. And there is a texture of your guys' music that is soul. There's like parts that feel Brazilian. There's like a lot of funky shit to it. So where did you guys come up with the what would be the feel of the internet?
we didn't really talk about it or like discuss it. It just it was just what it was. I mean, we have three albums. First album, me and Matt made by ourselves. For the most part, Patrick produced on it. Chris played drums on a track or two.
And that's Purple Naked Lady.
Yeah, Purple Naked Lady.
And so that has its own sound. Then the next album, we had already had the band by then, so that had its own sound as well, because we were like, oh, band, let's do everything live now. Like, Then we did that, and it was cool, but it was a little too, cool. It was too chill, yeah. So for the third album, we were like, all right, we need to go harder.
And the good things we liked about the first, basically the good things we liked about the first two albums, we basically perfected it, because Feel Good, we were just getting the live band, so. In our first album, like, we have no demos, we have no early songs, like our first
there was
songs
no
we ever made.
mixtapes.
Yeah,
The first like 5 to 10 beats me and him ever made together are on our first album.
Got it. So there was no warm up. That was it. You jumped right in. Everything's documented.
Yeah.
And were you guys already a band, the three of y'all, or did you guys all meet together for the internet?
Okay. Well, after the first album, me and him started it just together. And Patrick, I knew Patrick from like high school, like 9th grade. I met Chris in high school. We went to high school together. And we had another keyboard player at the time named Tay Walker. Shout out. He went solo, but he's dope.
Yeah.
And I knew Tay Walker from like my mom's friend's son or whatever. So when it came time for us to perform our first album, I was like, man, I'm not a singer. I'm not just about to be singing on a 2-track. That's going to sound terrible. It's going to be weak, and I'm not going to know what to do with it. So I need some live music. And thankfully, I went to a music academy, high school with Chris. And so I had a drummer. Yeah, shout out Hamilton High School. Had a drummer on deck. He hit me on Facebook, actually. He was like, yo, if you ever need drums on something, let me know. So I was like, actually, I do. Come through. We started recording drums in our apartment. And then Patrick actually started out playing guitar, but he perfected the bass to play for us. So that was awesome. And then Kentaro came on Ego Death.
The most recent
and Steve, who's
Steve
not here.
Lacey's not here.
Yeah.
And he had a lot to do with the sound of Ego Death, actually.
Man, so now you end up in this situation where like urban contemporary radio stations are playing your music. Like you're up here, you're at Hot 97 right now, but BLS is playing your song. You know, legendary station WBLS is heavy on this song.
Thanks.
Does it feel like now with the changes that you've made musically, you're able to exist in a world that's like super funky cool, but it's nice that there's at least a place it can be played.
Oh yeah. We're very, very grateful. We never really made music for radio. That was never really something we wanted to do, and nothing we ever tried to do.
And brand-wise, it didn't even seem like that would have been a likely thing.
Yeah. We from Odd
or
Future,
necessary.
so.
Yeah, you're from Odd Future, that's essentially, both of you guys.
Yeah, so, but we're very, very grateful that the radio has accepted this project.
Yeah. If you were forced to like stick yourselves in a category with other artists, who would you even?
Phony people.
Phony people from out here.
Phony
people. Those are the homies, man.
Anderson .Paak.
Yeah. I say Thundercat. All like just the new soul movement. I think Robert Glasper but Phony People, I think for sure, just because it's a band that's similar, it's around the same age,
same amount of people.
So Moonchild for sure.
The music is getting real experimental now. Like music's changing. That's really what's happening.
It goes in cycles. It's coming back. Yeah, it's coming back.
And it's also like it's a new generation. So there's like that. You know how history repeats itself, but like now it's newer. So
it's our twist. It's our twist on it.
Like we pretty soon we're gonna have to start coming up with new genres. Like,
but it's kind of happening, right? Like because I feel like for all the amazing things hip hop did, the downside is that musically it inspired a lot of people to want to just be rappers, and so that means style wise, for example, it actually made people real conservative. Which isn't something you would think, but it did, right? Like everyone had to dress the same way.
It's an unwritten code to it.
Right, there's a code. It's like, and you don't, even more than the dress or the talk.
A bottle of Hennessy.
Right. Well, there's a way you're gonna carry yourself that's like real rapidy rap, right?
Right.
And I always say, I think the grandfather, like the grandfathers of weird are like Pharrell, right? Yeah. And several other people. And then I feel Tyler is then like a father of it. Like he's the son of Pharrell.
Definitely.
But he's now father of another generation, including you guys and younger. Yeah. That's like all kind of have come since then. Where like and I don't even mean musically or nothing like Tyler, but the idea that you could be a black artist and not be in any box that you would have had to have been in over the last 30 years.
Amen.
Is amazing.
Yeah, Tyler, we talk about this all the time.
Shout out
We're
to Tyler.
able to, because we did Coachella like 3 years ago, and then a year ago we went to like a radio station. They were like, they didn't know who we were, so it was like we were known in a whole demographic that that we were expected not to even get into, and that was because of Tyler. He exposed us to the indie, like the Coachella level of things. Yeah. So now that this comes, like Ebro was saying in the other interview, like it's kind of weird that it's like people know who we are and we're doing the show, but it's still good because there's a whole demographic that has not heard of us yet, which is great. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's because Tyler did open a lot of doors for us. Like he allowed us to be able to get in the ears of people that would have never given this music a chance. So, that's for sure real. Like he opened a lot of doors. And Kendrick. To Pimp a Butterfly opened a lot of doors for a lot of musicians.
Especially being at the Grammys in the same year.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. And I said this, but I always just get tossed into Kendrick Dick Rider, so I can't say it. But the second I finished the Anderson .Paak album, I was like, yo, this is like the singing accompaniment of To Pimp a Butterfly. Yeah. Like, it's the perfect album to drop in the 6 months after
Right.
To Pimp a Butterfly. Like, To Pimp a Butterfly didn't spawn radio hits, but what it did was, like, it changed where people's ears were
It
going.
started a conversation.
Yeah.
I'd say To Pimp a Butterfly
Yeah.
started a conversation of
Started
like
a long conversation.
Because people
with layers to
a
it.
year
Yeah.
later still like, do I like it? Do I don't? It's like, and
Yeah,
if you have an
people still
album that's
writing
that
articles.
polarizing, then it's good. To me, if
Yeah.
an album is that polarizing and still being talked about, it's good. You know what I'm saying? It's a great
I think
album.
it's one of the most. I think it's one of the most important albums of our generation.
Absolutely.
I
I
agree.
think it's
I
a
agree.
staple album. Like it's one of the most.
It put emphasis back on a lot of musicians like Thundercat, Kamasi. It made
I mean,
them.
Terrence.
the whole LA,
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of LA musicians were on that album.
Oh, yeah.
a lot.
A lot.
Like most of the.
Yeah, like
Most everybody.
Everybody y'all know was good
the
something.
whole West Coast get down.
Shout out West Coast.
West
Yeah.
Coast. Shout
Man.
out West Coast.
Shout
Get
out
Down.
New York.
Yeah, but no. Listen, I love New York, and we have a few things popping for sure. New York will always be New York, but outside of Atlanta, I really do think that LA has been on the best run of the last several years. Really,
I'll agree.
I agree.
of all kinds, and it's there's been commercial shit with Mustard that's been incredible,
Yeah.
and set a tone all the way down through the backpack world. LA's really important. I've always found LA weird though because LA's because of Hollywood, right?
Everybody's an artist.
But no, you also have this undercurrent of super underground, like as a response to LA.
Yeah.
There's an so like even in the late '90s, early 2000s, like fat beat scene in LA was super vibrant. Like there was always the West Coast underground cats always were there and had like a vibrant scene. And like Laura Stiles will tell stories about the like outdoor concerts they used to have in the 90s where it would be like, Bay Artists too, like hieroglyphics and all like these underground cats who kind of all felt comfortable there. So Sid, when I was just sitting here doing research, one of the things I looked up that seemed to be a theme of articles about you in 2012 was like,
Oh, 2012. God.
yeah. No, it's like heavy talk about your gayness.
Yeah.
Like, and can she be the face? Can she be important for? How are you like embraced by the gay world? Is there like a extra embracing, or at this point, is it you don't notice the difference
Maybe now. Back then they hated me.
because your association with Odd Future?
Yeah.
Who everyone just
It was
assumed.
very ironic.
That whole situation, you'd have to write a really complex essay
Yeah.
to get into
Might write
that.
a book.
It's still going on. We almost did get on the flight a few months ago because of it.
Yeah, we went and did a festival in Australia and New Zealand, and trying to get into New Zealand, they shut me down at first.
They
were
shut
like,
her down,
"Nope."
and they shut me down.
Yeah,
And they said
then they shut
everybody
everybody down.
Is Australia who freaked out on Tyler?
He's banned.
He's banned. Right.
Yeah.
So
Wait,
yeah.
now was that for homophobic stuff or for like trying to incite a
that
riot or
was
something?
for both.
Lyrics.
Combo.
I think
Yeah.
it's everything. Yeah.
Yeah, for what they think he stands for.
Yeah.
But it was the whole thing was incredibly ironic, right? But then there's this complicated second layer to it. So you have a guy and a group who's regularly using homophobic slurs. If you know them, that's not what they mean at all.
Yeah.
And in fact, as he's always said, they're like the opposite of that, right?
Yeah.
Which is probably part of his comfort with saying the word.
Right, he makes more gay jokes than anybody I know.
I mean,
like
he's one of the
as
most-
far as- not
one of the-
not yeah. Like
No, he's
as
one of the most
far as, like,
homoerotic people of all time.
Yeah,
Tyler's-
Yes.
His homoerotic jokes never stop.
Yeah.
That's just who he
Yeah,
is.
next level,
He's very
actually.
comfortable with his
Very
sexuality.
comfortable. He's like a
does not
13-year-old who never grew up.
Yes.
And everyone's like someone he can make a joke with. So you have this irony because obviously they're not homophobic if you know them. But then at the same time, there's another layer to it because we definitely all agree we'd feel uncomfortable with a white group throwing the N-word around and be like,
Yes.
no, we're the least racist
Right.
people
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah, it's
So-
like it's hard because it was like I understand why you guys are offended, but you know,
his intention.
okay, that's that.
So if people have moved on though and started to realize that either that's not a big deal or it's not you or whatever, or your music's
And you
just too
shouldn't
good.
hold her accountable for what somebody else says. Like that was my whole thing. Like when we didn't, we couldn't almost make the flight. I was like,
not her.
The person y'all are saying that he's discriminated against is she embodies it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and that was 4 years ago. So my thing is, I understand. You know, I know Tyler very well, and we all know he's a super cool dude, and his intentions are well, but. You know, I don't think you should blame a whole squad of people because they were saying, I know I'm a part of Odd Future, and they were saying that I would had something to do with that, and like I was always behind the scenes. So, and then after that, they said they were in Odd Future, and it was like,
wait.
That whole moment was just like,
So that's one thing. It felt like it was a bit. It feels. I don't want to get myself in trouble, but I'll just say this. It feels a bit personal.
Yeah.
It felt a bit personal.
I mean, it's got to be for it to like, cause they started that whole process of trying to ban him back then, and for them to still
they're still on it. Like,
They're
that's
still
really
on
aggressive for a musician.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's talk about this issue. You guys do shows, obviously. People come out. Women come out. That happens in music, right?
Yeah.
Now, you guys have a lead singer who is a gay woman. So anytime you see a woman in the crowd who's looking at the stage like goo goo gaga, in all likelihood, given the way the group works out, that she's lead vocalist,
right?
There's a really good chance they're there for Sid.
It's like after the show, you like bring 2 girls backstage, like get the bitches, and then like Sid, and they like leave you immediately. It's like wait, what just happened?
Thankfully, that doesn't actually happen.
It's pretty easy.
So you guys do all right also.
Yeah, and then Lil Steve, who's 17, he's like the heartthrob.
He probably
of the band.
gets he's like the Lil
The
Steve.
heart stopper.
He's the Lil Fizz of the band.
He's the high school kid, right?
Yeah.
He's the
He's the Lil Fizz.
He's Lil Fizz of the internet.
The floodgates are gonna open.
But that actually like plays on the song.
Yeah.
Sorry, Lil Fizz.
Sorry, Lil Fizz.
Nah, shout out to Lil Fizz, man.
Yo,
LA, man, LA.
Yo, it feels. It officially now feels like a Vince Staples interview. Like Little Fizz has come up.
Shout out to Vince.
Shout out.
So why do the ladies love Steve, this kid, so much? He's 17 years old.
He's a good-looking kid.
And that's it.
And he's 17.
And he's very confident.
And he's off limits too, because he's
talented,
17 and he's about to turn 18. I think that's sort of like.
And he's confident.
And when you're around him, you don't know he's 17. You think he was 20. You think he was like 20, 21.
I thought he was my age when
turns
we met, and he
18
was
this month.
15.
He turns 18 this month.
His DMs are done.
Floodgates are gonna open.
His DMs are over.
It was like this Lion King gift for when Simba's running from that wildebeest herd. I was like, when Steve turns 18, and it's
Yeah.
like,
And the
Simba
girl
like,
was-
and it's like a wildebeest herd coming in
DMs.
his DMs. Like,
Did you guys get to meet anyone amazing at the Grammys?
Oh yeah.
Pino Palladino. Yes, I fanned out. That was incredible.
Tell people about Pino Palladino.
For those who don't know,
Probably like one of
the best bass players
like
in the
ever.
world.
Like,
What were people
Run it down. Where have we heard him?
Pocket,
Where have we heard him?
Pocket.
Where have we heard him?
Voodoo, one of my favorite albums of all time.
By who?
D'Angelo.
D'Angelo? Okay.
shout out to
Shout
out to D'Angelo.
Oh, Kurt, we met Kurt Franklin. Did you meet Kurt Franklin?
I did not meet Kurt.
And it was right after the Kanye thing came out, so I was like,
I didn't meet him, but that was,
ran past me and my mom.
Who? Wait, I can't hear you. Grab a mic.
Pharrell ran past me and my mom while we were on our way to our seats.
Shout out
though.
Pharrell.
Shout outs to Pharrell.
Chris
bro.
seen you, bro.
Yeah, I seen you, bro.
I seen you from a distance, but what's up, Sean?
Do you
I
guys?
don't think
gave
I
me a
saw
head.
anybody.
Do you have a relationship with Pharrell at all, or no?
No.
It just feels like that could easily be facilitated.
But that
What's
has
up,
that.
bro?
But the thing about like a lot of the things that happen for us, we like to happen organically,
Organic.
just how it's supposed to in the context. Because a lot of the times you meet people too early, when they don't know you yet or something. But we know Pharrell knows of our music,
Of course.
But for years we've always like, even before we met Thundercat, I was like, man, I wish Thundercat knew who we were, and I was like, man, we ain't ready for Thundercat to really know.
Yeah, I'm not.
And it just
In
happened when it's
general, I
supposed to.
think both of us, but yeah, especially me, I'm not the type of person to like reach out to somebody like.
I mean, I feel like
I'm nervous.
I feel like bad that I say this every time I see you, but I mean, you literally were, when I first met you, one of the shyest human beings I've ever
Yeah,
met.
I'm very.
But you're doing pretty good now.
Yeah,
Like, you're like a band leader now. Like, you seem like the lead of a
it's
band.
different. Yeah, things
Like,
have
when she
changed.
first came up here, well, first of all, she was
I was
with,
in the corner.
she's with these 11 wild animals.
Yeah,
Just, I mean,
straight up.
they were, when they were
what
first.
you mean, animal?
Yo,
I'm just playing.
yo, you've met Odd Future before. No.
Yeah,
I
real
mean, in the
talk.
most animalistic sense of the word. Yo, these kids, this is the beginning. Yeah. And they're walking into a radio station just like
bouncing off the walls.
turn the fuck.
dog.
And this one, she's just in the cut, like watching these lunatics And now to see you fronting
Hey
a
man,
band.
thanks for saying that, because my mom used to always get on my head. She used to say I would try to be as crazy as them, and I used to tell her, Mom,
No.
I'm not. I'm in the corner right now. You don't
even know.
understand. You don't even know, Mom.
I don't even know, Mom.
Yo, listen, there were so many times. The first time I ever interviewed them at, I think you were at that one too, at South by Southwest.
Yeah, probably.
Every time on, like they would go into these crazy, like back in the day, Tyler, the weird thing he would do to try to take over an interview would just be like, start like cursing and like talking shit and like being sort of nonsensical.
Yeah, answering all the questions incorrectly.
Yeah,
like,
just like, and then trying to take everyone a different place. I later learned the only way to really deal with Tyler in that time was to like separate him. Was to have like literally
have him one-on-one.
Have him one-on-one
Have a
and
real
be-
conversation with him.
When Earl came back, I had Earl's first interview when he came back. It was a really big deal. Clancy calls like, "Oh, we're gonna do this whole thing." Blah blah blah. Earl comes in and Tyler was in there at first, and I booted him. I was like, "Bro, you have to leave the room.
Yeah.
You cannot. This can't happen." But no, you've come such a long way. Like you actually seem more comfortable now. Doesn't mean I see you being the kind of who's gonna start reaching out to artists and being like, "Let's collab." But Pharrell's the only person. You guys are the only group I could think of that when I hear about a Pharrell collab, I wouldn't even think about wanting to produce. I would just think about wanting a feature from him.
That's kind of how we look at.
Because sound-wise, you guys have your sound.
That's kind of how we look at the future of our music as far as where we want to go. We kind of want to keep it. We have features and guest producing, a little bit of guest producing, but we really want to make it to the point where if you're gonna come on the internet album, you're gonna come sing. Like we got everything
Mac
else
Miller
covered.
came on and
you're gonna come
sang.
sing on it. So that's right. Yeah.
Tyler came on and sang.
Yeah.
Vic Mensa.
Vic Mensa.
Vic Mensa came on. He got go.
Yeah, he did. He hit a couple notes on there.
Well, so you mean even rap artists, you want them to sing a little bit?
Yeah, if you're gonna come on
Do
the internet album,
something
you
different,
sing.
you
You
know
rap
what I
on your
mean?
own albums. Come sing on ours.
Yeah.
Switch it up, man.
Yeah.
Switch it up. You're a musician. You're
Let's do this.
Plus, I think it's just good for a brand. Like it made, Mac around that time he was doing like a soulfuller album. You know what I'm saying? So I think it helps. Like and
Soulfuller.
It's that word soulfuller.
Soulfuller.
But yeah, I think rappers. I think like even Wiz when he sings his harmonies. I like Charles Hamilton. Even Charles Hamilton sings his harmonies.
Yeah.
Like I just think they have a very cool perspective on melodies that people who actually sing. Not saying they don't have, but they just have like. If you write with a rapper, like I've seen you write with a rapper and write with somebody who sings, like it's completely different process.
That's really interesting. Well, it's funny that you say that because huge name drop. But Rick Rubin told me that he was telling me about the artists he's into, and I was like, yeah. And he basically was like, I'm only in to singers who can't sing. And I was like,
That's kind of
it
fire.
took me a minute to understand it. And he was like,
I've been hearing that a lot lately from a lot of people.
oh really? See, it makes
in different words.
right,
but
in different
yeah.
words. But he was like, well, rapping these days isn't really hip hop anymore because everyone raps. It's really hip hop to sing if you don't know how to sing.
Yeah, no,
Yo, that's real.
Because you're pushing
texture.
yourself.
Shout out to Drake.
It's a texture.
Well said.
And his voice is, improving all the time. Shout out to Drake.
No, he's becoming a singer.
Yeah.
But at first, it was just like, let me jump on here
Yeah,
and
I'm
make...
gonna throw some melodies
And plus,
on here.
what I always tell her is, I'm like, when you have music where the person cannot sing that well, it's easier for the public to sing along because they feel like they can sing it just as good, opposed to when you get somebody that's super like, they're gonna be like, I can't do that. That's
And
a
it's
little
crazy
bit
for
over.
me. Like I started singing when we did our first album, so I've always been very subconscious about my voice. But it wasn't until like the last U.S. tour that we did, and I got off that tour, I was trying to like really sing. Like I was trying to be a real singer at that point. I was like, you know what? I can do this. I know I started late, but I can do this. And I tried, and then I realized that I was cooler how I was.
But you have a pretty good voice. I mean,
Aw.
you're not a non-singer singing.
I mean,
who do people compare you to the most? Vocally, do people compare you to someone?
oh man, it's always a different person, and you never really make sense.
You don't hear any of them.
No,
How Jewish are you?
I'm not Jewish.
What's the Jewish star and menorah and like Jewy stuff around you?
Well, I'll be honest. I was going to buy a chain a few months ago, and I was like, I wanted a circular pendant, not this one. I have another one that's also Star of David, but it's a circular pendant. The only circular pendant they had in the whole jewelry district, I felt like, was the Star of David. I was like, man, but I really want a circular pendant. I'm not Jewish, but I want it. My dad was like, just get it, you're Jewish. And I was like, whatever. Anyway, so I still to this day don't know what he was talking about, but I got it. And I was like, okay, this is dope. And then for Christmas, Taco bought me this.
What a good brother.
Yeah. So now
You're double Jewish now.
Now I'm double Jewish. And now I'm going to start describing it to people differently. So for those of you who hear this, you heard it first. I'm going to be lying from now on.
Yeah. No, it's good.
but
Give
I'ma
them like a
start-
deep, like Rastafarian,
Exactly.
like
No,
old
yeah.
school. There's a story there. Original Jewish man.
Right. So what it is there's six points on this.
Right.
And I have 6 members in my band.
Yo,
you feel
that's
me?
right.
And then Drake's views from the 6.
Drake's views from the 6.
Just
And
dropped.
he's
It was
Jewish.
Jewish.
And he's Jewish.
Oh my God.
And there's stars in the sky at night. What else?
That's right.
No, I have like 3. Okay, so then the second one is this. The second one is not your average star. Okay.
Do you understand why this is such a lovable group? All right. The Internet's album. Well, your most recent album, Ego Death, is out obviously right now.
Yeah.
Do you guys still have vinyl available for that, or is it gone?
It's gone.
I think it's going, but it's on eBay.
You have some? You have one?
I have
Will you
one
look?
too.
You do?
I think they're sold out though because
I might have a few at home.
Yeah.
That's
All right, I'm gonna look.
I think they're out of print though. I think they
Yeah,
stopped
they
printing
stopped
them.
printing them.
You just did like a limited run.
Yeah.
But, okay, I'm gonna throw something else out there. I'm sorry, I'm incredibly biased, but the kind of music that you guys make, y'all should be pressing up more vinyl.
I think we are. We're gonna press more. I think we're
it's
probably
easier
press
said
more.
than done.
I know,
The
it's a
fact
pain
of the
in the
matter
ass.
is, we don't really make anything on it. So it's like, and it sucks because, like, for instance, with our last European tour, we wanted to take vinyls on tour and sell them at the shows, but they were like, "You're gonna end up spending money to do that." And
Well,
it was like, okay,
But here's what you
let's
do.
think about this.
But listen to me. Trust me. You press up the 7. You press up a single on 45. That's not on the album. You just press up 2 songs on a little single, or maybe one's on the album, the other one's not. Easier to transport. They're dumb light. You can bring thousands of them way easier. And you can still mark them up. The markup these days on 45s, if you're selling them in, like, for you guys, you could sell them for as much as like $11 a pop. And it's a single. And it's just so it's such a collectible piece
Hearing
for your
this?
fans.
No, we
Y'all hearing this?
yeah, we said all the time like hard copies in general. We feel like they're like merch now more
People
so like
Yeah.
That's why people love that.
because people already have the
grab the mic.
MP3.
I was even thinking about getting those cassettes made.
Yeah,
I have
he
a
was
homie
talking
that
about-
I have a homie that can get those cassettes made just as a,
Merch.
safety. As
But
a
here's the
merch
problem.
thing.
The thing I don't like about the cassette, here's my problem with the cassettes. No one actually has a place to play cassette. Like, at least people have
I
record
actually
players.
do.
In their garage cousin does.
I still drive a 98 Lexus,
All
and
right.
my tape players.
Still, and I had
Yeah.
one of those till very late. But a lot of people in their house,
You're
they're-
right.
and a lot of people have a turntable.
A lot of people don't even have CD players anymore.
I know.
But vinyls
MacBooks
are
don't
selling
have-
more than apparently vinyls are starting to
Selling
eclipse
more than
CDs,
CDs, 'cause
because
they-
when you go to Urban Outfitters,
You can buy a vinyl player, record player, but you
Right
can't
there.
buy a CD player no more.
yeah.
Or y'all could do some crazy Jack White shit and sell a turntable at your shows with the vinyl.
Ooh.
You know what I'm
We gotta
saying?
wait a few
How
years.
much is that gonna cost?
I wouldn't
That's
ask the
real
label
deep.
for
Yeah,
that
like
one.
bread up
That's
for
real
Hey
deep.
guys, thank you so much for doing this.
Thank
No
you.
problem, man.
Are you when are you coming back? You have another tour set or no? Is this a random?
We're doing like festivals all summer. We have like a Europe,
Afropunk.
yeah, Afropunk.
Oh, you're doing Afropunk.
Afropunk, yeah, and that's gonna be lit.
Shocking, you guys are on Afropunk. You don't say that. You're a pretty good fit for that.
Yeah. Second time.
Trash
Yeah.
Talk on there too. Tyler's on there.
Yeah, the
Earl.
lineup's awesome.
Like
Under,
a
yeah.
hella OF dudes.
Yeah, Afropunk's lit this year. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
Hey, no
dude.
problem.
The
man.
internet.